Welcome to Trustee Talk. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dick Murgatroyd, and our guest today is Anderson Township Trustee and Second Vice President for the Board of Trustees, Andrew Pappas.
Second? My second?
Are you the second? Yeah, I think.
Second or third?
I read.
Third?
Is there a third? I don't think there's a third.
Not a third?
I think you're second.
Should be a third.
I've missed you. It's been a long time since you've been here. I mean, I'm trying to remember back.
Was it cold or hot when I was here last? I judge it by the seasons.
Yeah, well, I think when the last time we talked, we were talking about the summer and the spring and all of the development that was going to be happening.
I think you're right. We talked early spring.
Yeah, it was early spring.
So it was, I don't think I had this jacket on. I don't think so. So I think I had a heavier jacket on. Judge it by what season it is. I go by thickness, not
that's the way to do it. Nice. So anyway, the summer is over, sort of over. And
it's hanging on.
Well, it is hanging on.
It
can hang on as long as
it stays like this. This has been a absolutely great summer. It really only got hot a little.
Yeah, not bad at all.
And it could. I'll take an Indian summer like that. I think that's what they call it.
Yep.
As long as it's not too hot.
I will go with this until next spring.
Yeah. Well,
Now I know that's wishful thinking.
See
so
you in
I
February.
guess. Yeah, really. But anyways, the good thing is a lot has happened and it's still happening since we talked last. So bring us up to speed. What all has been? Well, I mean, the Beachmont Avenue is busy with all kind of new and exciting development.
I have lived here over 20 years and been doing business on that very street for over 20 years, and we're talking every day. So more than most people, I have my pulse, my finger on the pulse of what's going on in Anderson as it pertains to Beachmont Avenue. I truly cannot remember a period of time where there's been more going on Beachmont Avenue than has been going on this summer, and with more coming.
Yeah. We
have any number of new restaurants have come into the township. Businesses have come into the township. I mean, I'll go down the list. We'll start with the biggest. Should we start with the biggest? Let's start there. Kroger is obviously going to expand. We discussed that, and everyone's asked, so I'll give everyone an update. It's going to happen. It's in planning. Kroger is such a big company. They don't move exceptionally fast, but their plans are in for approval now. I think they wanted to space out. They had that Kroger open over there in Oakley.
Yeah.
That just happened, which is enormous. And now they're going to focus on Anderson's Kroger, getting their plans finalized. I haven't been on the inside of the Kroger over there because I hear it's going to be similar. There's some interesting new, not really products, but services. Well, there's products on the inside of the store. They carry a lot more. The other thing is you can order your groceries and pull up into a lane behind the store, and they bring all your groceries prepackaged, pre-ready to go out to your car, and you just go.
That's pretty nice.
Well, think about it. I know a lot of moms out there that go shopping with their kids, and it adds, a couple of $100s to the trip because there's lots of little hands grabbing everything off the shelves.
Right.
You can order what you want, pull in there, pop your trunk with the power release, swipe your credit card and go. Now, I know that there's going to be a fee to that, but I'm imagining with the amount of money that you might save from those little hands grabbing everything.
Well, that and just the convenience for a lot of people.
Time is money.
People that are especially people that work and that kind of thing don't have time to
Absolutely.
Go walk through a store and.
That's going to be really neat.
So that's got to be a first.
They did it. They're doing it. I saw it in Oakley. And I know
so they're doing it there.
This is just another service that they're offering their customers. Now, as I said, I know there'll be a service charge, but I don't think that's unreasonable considering what you might save in unnecessarily impulse buying.
Well, that and as we said, I mean, that goes back to the early days of grocery stores when I was growing up. I mean, we'd call the grocery store and give him the list, and the guy would get it all together, and we would go and pick it up and take it home.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's pretty. I didn't know they.
It was a local grocery store, and we knew the guy, and we called Johnny up, and Mother would give him the list, and I'd go down and pick it up and bring it home.
Well, those days are, it's
so
amazing how
we're coming,
the
circle of life is coming back.
That is amazing. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. But that was
just thinking we're breaking, new ground here, and
well, that's because you're younger than I am.
Well, just a smooch.
But,
yeah. We really, I just think it's so convenient.
Well, it is.
Now, would I use it? I don't know if I would use it. It's me and my wife. There's not difficult shopping, but I'm thinking of them. I see these families shopping, and it's hard.
It is. Yeah.
You've got too many hands, just watching them alone, and they're all grabbing at stuff. And I'm like, that really is a valuable service to that family. So
It
I'm
will
looking
be.
forward to
I
it.
think
Or if there's a single professional that doesn't have the time.
And there are a lot of those that
lot of
don't
those.
have time to go
Or
into a
working,
store.
we both
yeah.
work, and sometimes it's hard to get to the store. I call up, get me my stuff of groceries, and I think that's great. Kroger's coming online. I can't tell you when they'll break ground, but I think it'll be this fall.
I
think so.
They're almost doubling the size of that store, are they not?
It's going up by another 50%. So it's not 100 would be doubling, but it's reconfiguring, and I think it's another 50%. And they have 2 out parcels at the intersection there that they're going to develop into that they're going to lease out to either restaurants or some sort of restaurants.
Yeah, and
with a plaza in between.
And that latest magazine that they call, what do they call that?
Oh, our local one.
Your local one.
Yes.
Insights.
Yes.
There's a nice article in there on that, on just some sketches on that development on that corner of Wolf Angle and.
That corner is
And,
going to be really,
well, it's really gonna be
really
nice.
nice because it's going to focus your attention outwards towards Beachmont, where instead of looking at a parking lot, from the street, you're actually looking at a open plaza-ish area between 2 restaurants that'll probably feature outdoor dining as well.
Which will be nice.
Which will be nice. So I see that as a really nice gathering spot.
I do too.
So that'd be nice.
I think it'll be, I think it's going to be terrific. And then and plus this whole center, I mean, you've got a lot of things going on in that center besides
We'll
Kroger.
stick with that location.
Yeah.
You coming down the main drive, and that will all be, that is in permitting as well. I know that those plans have been approved and gone out for the second round of bids due to some changes to try to get the cost more in line with what the developer was thinking. But that is starting very quickly. We've been asked, when is the movie theater coming? It is coming quickly. They are going to start demolition on a portion of that Kmart soon. And that portion will, that whole phase, as you come down that drive, then there'll be another drive similar that will have the movie theater at the corner and then a bunch of inline stores. And we've heard some of the mixes, and I think it's going to really open up this half of that development.
Yeah.
Whereas before, maybe the focus was on the front side of the development. Now it's going to be more, both sides of the development. So it'll wrap around a lot more.
Which will be nice.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
And it
will be.
will actually open up people to see more of the town center here.
Yeah.
It'll bring people more this way, and it's going to be a hub. I would love now, if you would have told me 3-4 years ago, maybe less, that, a Friday night you wouldn't have to leave Anderson Township to go catch a movie and have a nice meal, I'd have said, that's not going to happen. Well, it's a reality, and
Yeah.
it's coming.
Well, and you mentioned you're going to have some restaurants in that vicinity. They're not necessarily fast food. I would assume they're
No.
going to be nicer restaurants.
More of your, I think the trend
down.
nowadays is your casual fine dining.
Yeah.
Not necessarily fancy
No,
dining.
no, but I mean, a sit down and
Correct.
and enjoy an evening and
Correct. Not fast food.
not fast food,
just
but yeah,
good food.
Yeah,
So I think, and that's something people have been clamoring for. It's a trend around the nation.
well, because most everything is I mean, up and down the Beachmont is most of that's kind of considered fast food or
Fast-ish.
fast-ish food. So, I mean, finding a place
This will
that
be
you
more of
can-
a sit-down
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Yeah,
We have, sticking with that intersection, now we've discussed Kroger and we've discussed the movie theater. If you jump right across the street behind McDonald's, where there was the hair salon and an auto repair place, that's going away. That's going to be a professional medical office building.
Oh, yeah.
That intersection is going to be reworked to facilitate traffic flow, spruce it up a little bit. It's going to be a beautiful little professional medical office building back there. So that's all new. You travel down Beachmont a little bit, and you have 2 really nice, well, one center that has a Dewey's Pizza, which I don't know if you've been there yet.
I have not, but I love Dewey's Pizza. I've been to others, and
Beautiful. You
Good
know,
s-
you're talking about what has happened there. We've taken, or not we, but the developer has taken 3 parcels that 2 of which were truly an eyesore.
they were.
We had an old nightclub on one of it right next to Johnny's Car Wash. We had the old Long John Silver's that had been any number of things afterwards, you know, seasonal rental.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with the car dealership that was there, but at the end of the day, if you compare what's there now and how
much
nice
nicer.
it
Yeah,
looks,
much nicer. Yeah.
it's stunning. And we mentioned in one of our prior talks how a developer from out of town had come to Anderson and couldn't really gauge if Anderson was on the ascent or on the descent or just treading water. I would challenge anyone to drive down, any developer from outside of town, to drive down Beachmont Avenue now, the heart of Anderson, and say it's not readily apparent that Anderson Township is clearly on the ascent.
Absolutely.
Things are happening
Yeah,
there.
I mean, well, and just the everything that goes in along with what the development that's happening is a lot of just landscaping and that type of thing that warms it up and makes it look much more like I guess a boulevard, if you want to call it that.
Well, remember,
Then-
we can't, I forget the number, there's 200 and something, maybe more than that, individual property owners on Beachmont Avenue. When we have we do every couple of years in the township, we have a comprehensive plan where we really do plan the direction of the township for much longer than 1, 3, 5 years. We're looking way down the road, and we have a master plan. We're now in the process of revamping that. It's time for renewal, but every time now these parcels are redeveloped, for example, I'm looking now at specifically the Witt Road development was, you know, substandard, eyesore, seasonal rental
Yeah.
at best, one of them. The other one was clearly an eyesore. Now, not only is it landscaped, beautifully lit, stunning development as far as architecturally pleasing, we also have access because there's sidewalks. We can't go in and force property owners to put sidewalks in, but when these properties are redeveloped, then is the time we can say, hey, listen, if you're going to redevelop this now,
Yep.
we're going to insist on, you know, a certain number of parking spaces, certain number of landscaping, certain number of sidewalks or access. It makes the community better.
It does. It makes a whole lot different. Makes it much more people friendly.
Let me tell you, as we discussed before, what happens is, you know, as those properties are redeveloped, it rises your values,
Yep.
and the person across the street or just down the street or next door says, you know, I've been sitting on this parcel and I've been getting my $12 rents, but if I scrape this place and redo it,
Yep.
I could get $20
Yep.
rents.
Easily.
And that helps everybody.
Oh yeah, it certainly does. I mean,
As a
no
matter of
question about
fact,
it.
just past 8 Mile on Beachmont, an investor went in there on the north side of Beachmont, just past 8 Mile, and is putting, rather than knocking down the center, which his choice, but he's doing a great job, he is renovating that center. There was it's right next to, I think it's the O'Reilly's Auto Store.
Yeah.
And it is just down from there. There was an Indian restaurant in there, but they've now vacated. That whole center will be redeveloped, and it's beautiful stone, and I'm sure he's going to put some ephes on it. You know, you don't necessarily have to knock something down and start anew.
No.
But what the redevelopment is doing is people are saying, you know what, it might be time for me to remodel.
Dress it up.
Dress it up.
Yep.
I have no problem with that.
No. Well, no, because I mean, if they let it go, I mean, it becomes an eyesore.
It does.
You know, based on everything else you got going.
And you wouldn't remodel
No.
if there wasn't a demand for people to want to come in.
Right.
No one's going to remodel just to keep the same tenant mix in there, because what's the point? Why spend the money?
Yeah. Well, you don't need to.
You don't need to. They're
No,
there.
right.
So we have a lot of stuff happening. It really is. It's really is a reflection. The reason Anderson Township is doing well, and a lot of townships around the state here in Ohio have been truly hurt by the cut in funds from the state government. The local government fund was wiped out. The doing away with the inheritance tax was wiped out. And that is fine. I'm not here to discuss
No.
that. But the reality is we've had to get by with less, much less. And this is simply a reflection that even during these tough economic times that we find ourselves in, Anderson is absolutely thriving. I mean, I couldn't be a luckier person to be in office
No.
when I am.
It's obvious. I mean, very obvious. And as you said, there's just a continuation. I think the new stuff has encouraged people that may have been sitting on their hands, like you said, to do something.
We have, I'm not being coy, we have a lot of development still to come.
That's great.
There's a lot of interest there, and not just commercial. We have, I left out probably the biggest, right behind us here. Next week we're having a topping out ceremony for the hospital.
Oh,
Brand new hospital coming in Anderson Township, or redoing their facilities in Anderson Township. If the Beach Acres project happens, who knows what will happen if Anderson High School shifts from where it is to Beach Acres. And that's a subject we can discuss, and I know you and Russ discussed it
Russ,
last one.
we talked about that last time, and I think when we talked about it, it was kind of left up, still up in the air as to what the outcome was going to be or where that was going to end up.
As of right now, things have changed since then. And where it sits right now, the Parks Board is the only entity that has a contract for the land between the Parks Board and Beach Acres. Parks Board has now said that they have listened to the people, or they've heard from the people, and now they're fully behind the 2020 plan if it doesn't negatively impact the existing Beach Acres Park, if it also doesn't end up costing a ton of money where we really don't have it, and some other hurdles that they have. But they are now receptive to the high school potentially, and if it fits, potentially being at Beach Acres Park. If that happens,
a big change.
It is a big change.
Yeah.
If that happens, so now all three entities, we have the Parks Board here, the School Board here, and the trustees here. Truly, this is between these two entities right now. However, it does involve the trustees or the government here, because the TIF funding is going to be necessary to make this whole thing happen. So there's some legal questions that still need to be sorted out. We have about a month. It is now October for all intents and purposes. Election is early November. We have about a month to make sure that all these questions are answered before the voters go to the polls to say, do we want this to go forward or do we not want this to go forward?
So that will be on the ballot.
The Parks levy to purchase Beach Acres Parks will be on the ballot. The question really before that election is, will the high school be part of that plan or not? The new high school,
Mm-hmm.
is it legal? Will it fit? Does it not negatively impact Beach Acres Park?
So those need to be answered.
Those need to be answered pronto in about a month.
Yeah.
And the cost as well. I think that we will get there. We have a joint meeting coming up at our next trustee meeting here at the town center that we will have all three entities there. We'll be discussing this. People don't understand the problem with some of these complex questions, especially between three entities like this. It takes time.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is all public record. This has to happen publicly. We can't have secret meetings. We can't discuss this privately amongst ourselves. It's not ethical, it's not correct, it's not legal. So, you're talking about getting three different boards made up of many people together to meet, to discuss this, have public announcement, public notice, this is where the meeting's going to be. It's not like you just pick up the phone and say, hey, Dick, what do you you want to build a garage together? It doesn't work like that. So it does add a layer of time. Plus, then you throw into the mix attorneys' opinions.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't like to have them.
Yeah.
So
They can draw it out.
They can draw it out. I am hopeful that this Beach Acres question is answered quickly, so the voters know exactly what they're voting on in November.
Yeah.
However, I'm excited that if it does happen, I can't even imagine the unlocking of potential of what could possibly go at the Anderson, old Anderson High School location on
Oh, yeah.
Forest. And that's just, right in the heart of the township. We have some remarkable housing announcements to make here in the next few months. And this is really, to be honest with you, I'm not taking any credit for this. I am just lucky, very lucky to be where I'm at right now. This truly is a reflection on the good, consistent leadership
Yes.
that we've had in the township, because this stuff doesn't happen by accident.
No, and it takes a while.
It takes an
It
enormous
seems like
period
it
of
seems
time.
like it's overnight, but it's not. I mean, those discussions started, I'm sure, a long time ago.
Well, I'd like to thank my prior trustees, the leadership of Anderson, for putting us in this position today. Because truly, without their vision, without their steady guiding hand in the past of not necessarily going too much this way or too much that way, which government really shouldn't do. Government is slow and steady.
It should be.
It should go in a
Yeah.
direction, but it can't be run as a corporation
No.
where you're that fleet on your feet.
No.
So
Yeah.
I am the luckiest guy to be in the position I am because of prior administration's decisions. And I hope that in 10, 20 years, maybe less, that people will look back and say, for decisions that we're making today, that they're appreciative of some of the things we've decided to do. To not expose the township to risk, to not spend more money per se than we have coming in. It's easy to say that, it's much harder to put it into practice. But we try to be as fiscally conservative as we can.
And and that is reflected, I think, on the success that the township's had.
It is. It's just difficult at times to sometimes we have to spend money to do things
Yes.
that maybe if you were a corporation you wouldn't do.
Yeah, right.
But government is also not a corporation. We have to look at the bigger picture sometimes, and it's difficult when, you can say no all day long, but that's not going to get you far.
No. Easy to say no. I mean, it's easy to have nothing happen.
It's easy to have nothing happen.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we're saving money where we can. We just announced we're collaborating. There'll be an announcement. We just had an announcement. We're collaborating with Newtown Fire Department. We're going to actually we're gonna close one of our fire stations and provide services out of one of their fire
Good for
stations.
you.
So we save on personnel, overhead, material. It's a win-win for both of us. And these are maybe little decisions, maybe not the biggest
Well,
decisions.
but those little decisions will add up.
They do.
Over
They
time.
add up over time.
They
And
really
it's
do.
just, it's such an exciting time to be in a position here. I go around, Ohio. I was actually out of town this weekend, and people, where are you from, Ohio? What part? Cincinnati? Oh, Anderson Township. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
What do you do there? And I said, well, I'm just a lowly trustee. I'm just a miserable public servant. No, I'm teasing. But at the end of the day, people have heard of this place, and it's amazing.
Well, I think you have a great story, and I think, as you said, I think it's because of the leadership that has preceded you and the leadership you have now
Well,
have all made very good.
not every choice, not every
No,
decision was a home
no.
run.
Well, but they aren't. But the overall,
Yes,
they are.
they are.
And
that's why
and
we're
you're
reaping the
seeing-
rewards of it now.
You're seeing it happen.
We
I
didn't
mean,
even discuss the Racino down by the river.
No, which is
doing
another
quite
exciting. That's another exciting area down there.
It's doing well now. Racino revenues are down because I think they opened up too many of them,
well,
perhaps.
I think that happens anywhere you look.
But
where
they are doing quite well, and I implore people, if you haven't gone down there yet, it's still great food, great atmosphere.
You have a new restaurant down there.
We have just down the street where we have purchased, for example, things government does. The township, there was a property nearby down the street. The old AJ's is now Grove Park Grill. They had their ribbon cutting yesterday. Another fantastic dining experience here in Anderson Township. Very, very good food, beautiful atmosphere. But just down the street from there was an eyesore, an old boat repair place. We went in, purchased it from the owner, cleaned it up, got it nice and pretty. We are now in the process of perhaps selling it
Wow.
to a private developer or a private entity for their use. and also retaining the portion on the river that we wanted to make into an overlook or river access for our residents. These are things that people might have criticized us. Why did you buy this? But look at the return.
But and those are the things that will come back and pay off in the long term.
10, 15, maybe less. I mean, this was just purchased 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, and we've cleaned it up, remediated it, and we have interest from private entities to purchase portion of it.
Well, and I think the intent too was that once the Racino was in, and that there would be a lot of new interest in that area that would develop, and like you said, you've got a new restaurant down there now.
Well, they remodeled the AJ's. It's totally new. It's fantastic.
So I mean, I think that's going to become kind of an entertainment center.
I hope so.
Because it's connected to so many things going on down there.
Although I will say, the other night they had a concert, and I was trying to go to sleep.
Did that bother you?
It did.
Yeah, they made too much noise. Did you
Getting
call? Turn down the audio.
said it's 10 o'clock. What's the matter?
Turn the sound down.
No,
Turn the sound down.
fine.
We've run out of time. I hate that because I enjoy being with you.
No.
It's always a treat, and I hope we see you more often. And it's nice, isn't it? It's very simple, very simple set. But anyway, thanks for being with us, and seriously, thank you for the service that you do provide to Anderson Township and the citizens of Anderson Township. They got a lot to look forward to.
Oh, we have election season coming up. I'm giddy.
Yes, I bet you are. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Trustee Talk and making this part of your day, and we hope the rest of your day is going to go very well for you. I'm Dick Murgatroyd, on behalf of our producer, director, and cameraman, and just the one-man show we have here, Shane Reinert. We invite you to join us again for our next edition of Trustee Talk here on ACTV. See you then.